How about the flute?
Okay.
This is not an ordinary flute, actually. The most flutes that people see these days are metal flutes, obviously. This is a wooden flute, and it's the kind of flute that was standard. Everyone played them before the metal flute became popular around the 1890s or so.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was made in 1863, this
Really?
particular one, in New York City. And it was probably played by orchestra players or chamber music players or who knows. But this kind of flute became popular in Ireland just because they were available. That was the kind of flute people could get. And they still are played a lot in Ireland, and have really, the Irish people have developed a whole style of traditional Irish flute playing for this kind of flute. So, and it has a different sound from a metal flute too. I'm sure that your listeners will recognize that. So let's see, I'll play an Irish reel, let's see, called Sweeney's Dream.
An Irish reel.
An Irish reel.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's get into your recording career.
Okay.
Let me bring out the first album that you recorded with your partner Malcolm Daglish. Okay. What led up to this album?
It's sort of a funny chain of events. One of those things where just sort of a series of circumstances fell into place. We hadn't planned to do an album for a long time before we started playing music together. In fact, we started playing music together less than a year before we made that record. We both grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. And
so you were friends before you met, I guess, a year before.
Yeah.
And how'd you meet? Were you playing someplace
it's
in
funny.
England?
We both had attended a college in Ohio called Oberlin College. And Malcolm actually attended there a little earlier than I did, but he came back to Oberlin to do a workshop and concert for the Oberlin Folk Music Club. And when he was doing his workshop, that's when we met, and we just ended up playing music together informally that afternoon. And he said, we seemed to be hitting it off real well, and he said, well, would you like to play with me on the concert tomorrow night? And I said, sure, why not?
So he basically was the leader of the band. He was the...
He was just playing as a solo.
I see.
Performer.
Were you playing as a solo as well, or?
I wasn't really performing as such. I was a student at that time in music school and just working hard at that, playing a lot informally. But so anyway, we did the concert together and it went really well, and we decided, well, let's do this some more. So that the summer following that, we made our livings playing in sort of restaurants and pubs in Cincinnati. And,
what year was that?
That was 1975.
Oh, that was quite a long while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years since the two of us have been together.
It seems like, well, the name of the first album is Banish Misfortune, and the name has come up everywhere. I mean, it seems to have quite a following, the album. Were you surprised by its success?
Yes, really, very surprised. I think it's largely a matter of timing and luck, and in some ways, I suppose the music is good too. but at the time that record came out, there really weren't any other records like it that had been released by Americans anyway.
So
it really seemed to. You're saying, it really seemed to fill a need.
So it was more or less a style that you and Malcolm had developed, and how would you describe that style, different from other folk albums?
Well, it was one of the first albums in America of Irish and Scottish instrumental music. There really, I don't think there were any others at that time. And Malcolm plays an instrument called the hammer dulcimer, which is, it's a very unusual instrument, and most people, when they first hear it, are really taken by it. It's a very enchanting kind of sound. And the variety of instruments that I played on the record: flute, concertina, guitar, penny whistle. I don't know, something about the combinations that we came up with. It really did seem to catch on with.
You also seem to do quite a lot of research into all the songs that you play. You I guess, you date back to it, and that's unique as well, isn't it?
I guess so.
Is that more of your doings or Malcolm's doings?
No, it's both of us. Most of the music that we do, we learn directly from other people. There are other ways to learn folk music, from records and from books, but and we've done some of that too. But I think when it's possible, the most desirable way to learn this kind of music is directly from another player, because there's so much in the style that can't be, written down at all.
Let's play some more music just to break up your albums here. Do you have any favorite from this album that's requested or has become a favorite?
Let's see. It's been quite a while. I suppose the title track is one that gets requested a lot.
Banish Misfortune.
Yeah, I could play that.
Okay, great.
I'll play it on the penny whistle. This is an instrument sort of like the flute in a way. The fingering, by the way, is exactly the same as that kind of flute. So once you've learned to play the flute, it's not hard to jump to the whistle, or vice versa. So this Banish Misfortune is an Irish jig. Another kind of a dance.
What's the difference between a reel and a jig?
Okay. Well, they're both kinds of tunes that accompany a specific dance, and a reel and a jig have different steps, for one thing, but also the meter, which means how many beats per measure, let's say, is different. A reel is in 4/4 time, and a jig is in 6/8 time.
Okay.
So.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, this is the next album that both of you, Malcolm Dalglish, and you, Grey Larson, came out with. How long? This is called Rights, the First of Autumn.
Right.
How many years was it between